To the world, Quincy Jones is a titan, the architect of modern music, a man with 28 Grammys and a legacy that shaped the soundtrack of our lives. But inside the walls of his own home? The story was much more complex. Being the child of a global icon isn't a single experience, it's a scattered one. Quincy fathered 7 children across different eras, with different mothers, in different corners of the globe. Some were born into the glitz of the Hollywood Hills. Others were raised far from the flashing cameras. They didn't share the same roof, and they certainly didn't share the same upbringing. But they all shared one thing: the Jones name. The first person to carry that weight was his eldest daughter, Jolie Jones. Long before the world-changing hits, and long before the Q legend was cemented, Jolie was there. She was the witness to the very beginning of Quincy Jones's journey as a father, and her story is where the dynasty truly begins. So what is her story? Follow me to find out. Jolie Jones is the eldest daughter of Quincy Jones and his first wife, Jerry Caldwell, born on October 4th, 1953. Her childhood unfolded in a world most people can only imagine. Thanks to her father's work, Jolie was surrounded by some of the greatest figures of 20th century music, artists such as Duke Ellington, Sarah Vaughan, Peggy Lee, and Frank Sinatra. She grew up moving between Manhattan, Europe, and other cultural centers, while her father's career expanded internationally. Looking back, Jolie has described those years as a life exposed to many cultures and people. It was a maturation process that shaped her perspective on creativity, identity, and the possibilities of artistic expression. But Jolie was not simply the daughter of a rising star. As a teenager, she made her own way into the spotlight. At age 16, Jolie began modeling. In an era when the presence of black women in major fashion magazines was still very limited, she achieved remarkable success. She became one of the first African-American models to appear on the cover of Mademoiselle magazine and was prominently featured in 17 magazine. At the time, this was not only a success in modeling, but also a cultural milestone. For a time, Jolie also tried her hand at acting and music. She appeared in the 1977 film Panic in Echo Park, contributed the song Take a Second Look to the 1987 soundtrack of Hunk, and later participated in music video projects such as Yakety Yak, Take It Back. But as life changed, Jolie's priorities began to shift. After marrying music producer Stuart Levine and raising 2 sons, Donovan and Sonny, she gradually distanced herself from the entertainment world. The couple even lived in London for a time, while Levine continued his music production work. Later, as her children grew older, Jolie returned to creative work in her own way, occasionally performing with the Los Angeles Chamber Symphony Orchestra, producing independent projects, and developing artistic initiatives such as her Sacred Spaces series. Over time, her work expanded beyond the arts and entertainment sphere, encompassing social activism and personal advocacy. One of the issues she began to speak publicly about was electromagnetic hypersensitivity, EHS, a condition she believes she suffers from, described as a strong sensitivity to electromagnetic fields from modern technology. In interviews, Jolie has spoken about this experience with remarkable sincerity, recalling times when she felt mentally exhausted, fatigued, and physically unwell. Her response was to distance herself from the environments that triggered those reactions and focus on creating healthier spaces for herself and others. In many ways, that choice reflects a philosophy she often attributes to lessons learned from her father. In one interview, Jolie explained that one of the most important things Quincy Jones taught her was to choose the nobler path in difficult situations, rising above the negativity instead of being trapped by it. It's a principle she has continued to uphold throughout her life. As of 2026, Jolie Jones Levine lives a relatively private life compared to some of her more famous siblings. She remains active on social media, sharing her thoughts on family, creativity, and her healing journey with her followers. In January 2026, she posted a simple message online about missing her mother, writing, "No one loves you like your mother does." It was a reminder that behind the global fame associated with the Jones name, the family story remains deeply human. She, like us, on the fringes of success, also has a warm heart. It is strong when achieving success, but equally tender when missing her mother and loved ones. Concluding these personal thoughts on Jolie, let's explore the life of Quincy Jones's second child, Rachel Jones. In the early 1960s, during a brief relationship with dancer Carol Reynolds, Quincy Jones welcomed another daughter. Her name was Rachel Jones. Born on July 23, 1963, Rachel arrived at a time when her father's fame in the music industry was rapidly expanding. Quincy Jones worked with many famous artists, toured extensively, and built professional relationships that eventually made him one of the most influential producers in modern music. But Rachel never chose to live in that world. Although she grew up aware of the immense cultural legacy associated with her father's name, she pursued a path entirely different from the entertainment industry surrounding the Jones family. Rachel became a veterinarian. She graduated from Tuskegee University School of Veterinary Medicine in 1999, one of the most prestigious veterinary programs for African Americans in the United States. Over time, she has developed expertise in holistic veterinary medicine, combining traditional veterinary care with chiropractic treatment, dental care, and natural approaches to animal health. Instead of working in large clinics or prestigious veterinary hospitals, Rachel built something far more personal. She founded Marina Vet Mobile, a mobile veterinary clinic that brings high-end animal care services directly to clients' homes. Her services focus on in-home visits and personalized treatment, especially for pets and horses, and operate primarily in California, from Los Angeles to desert regions like Joshua Tree and Palm Springs, with occasional work in New York City. Coming from a family with deep ties to Hollywood and the global entertainment industry, Rachel's career reflects a completely different rhythm of life. Instead of film sets and recording studios, her days revolve around animal care, veterinary treatment, and long trips between home visits. Despite choosing such a private career path, Rachel has maintained a warm relationship with her father throughout the years. Quincy Jones occasionally expresses that affection publicly. In birthday posts on social media, he has written things like, "Happy birthday to my beautiful daughter, Rachel. I love you so much, darling." And in another tribute, he shared, "Thank you for your love and your light. I am proud of you, darling. Love you forever." Those simple messages revealed something important about their relationship. Even though Rachel lived far from the entertainment world that made Quincy famous, she was deeply loved by her family. Rachel also built her own life outside of her career. She is the mother of 2 grown children and has entered the stage of grandmotherhood, although she keeps much of her family life private. On social media, she occasionally shares moments of that private world. On Mother's Day 2022, she posted a photo of her children with the caption, "This day would be meaningless without these special souls in my life." By 2026, Rachel Jones continued to work actively as a veterinarian while maintaining a quiet life centered around her family and animal care. Her Instagram account, known as @drmarinavet, reveals glimpses of her world, caring for animals, reflecting on life, and occasionally sharing memories of her father. If I had to use 2 words to describe her life, they would be peaceful and happy. A life many would envy. Next, let's move on to the third child, to see how this child is living under the enormous shadow of the Jones family. The person I'm referring to here is Martina Jones, born on November 1, 1966. She is the daughter of Quincy Jones and Swedish model and actress Ulla Andersson. They married in 1967, but soon after, in 1970, they separated, and Martina moved to Sweden to live with her mother, growing up far removed from the vibrant entertainment industry surrounding her father in the United States. Instead of Hollywood studios and recording sessions, her world was shaped by something quieter, a life between two cultures, American and Scandinavian. That dual background greatly influenced her later identity. Following in her mother's footsteps, Martina entered the art world as a model at a young age. But unlike some other members of the Jones family who remained close to the spotlight, Martina eventually gravitated towards a different form of artistic expression. She turned to photography. Over time, capturing images, landscapes, travel, and everyday moments became her primary creative medium. Her photography reflects a life full of movement and exploration, often documenting adventures, nature, and personal experiences rather than celebrity culture. On social media, where she shares much of her work under the name @MartinaPhotos1, Martina portrays herself simply through what she loves: photography, travel, and living life creatively. It's a quiet artistic path, far removed from her father's massive public career. However, their connection remains strong. Throughout the years, Martina has frequently shared affectionate tributes to Quincy Jones online, describing him as a guiding light in her life. In a message, she wrote that his light shone not only on the family, but also on the world. That connection became even clearer after Quincy Jones' death in November 2024, at the age of 91. In early 2025, Martina made one of her rare public appearances at the 97th Academy Awards, where she gave a brief speech about the continued love and admiration for her father's legacy. She described feeling both honored and humbled by the admiration for him. By 2026, Martina Jones continued to live a relatively private life, focusing on photography, travel, and family rather than public fame. And speaking of Martina, one cannot overlook her younger brother, who is also the next child of Quincy Jones to choose to continue the family's musical legacy. His name is Quincy Jones III, commonly known in the music industry simply as QD3. His full name is Quincy Delight Jones III, born on December 23, 1968, the son of Quincy Jones and Swedish model Ulla Andersson. However, his childhood, like that of his sister, was spent in different places. After his parents separated in the mid-1970s, he spent much of his childhood growing up between Stockholm and Los Angeles, between the tranquility of Scandinavia and the rapidly changing American music scene. In a way, his story seems inevitable. He is the only son of Quincy Jones. And music entered his life very early. As a teenager in the early days of hip-hop culture, Quincy Jones III experimented with DJing, breakdancing, and music production. By the age of 13, he had begun producing music seriously. At 16, he achieved his first gold record, a milestone that showed he wasn't simply following in his father's footsteps but forging his own path. But that path was very different from the legendary career of Quincy Jones Sr. While his father was famous for orchestral arrangements, jazz productions, and pop masterpieces like Thriller, Quincy Jones III plunged straight into the rapidly evolving world of hip-hop. Under the stage name QD3, he became a producer and composer involved in some of the most influential hip-hop and urban music projects of the 1990s. Over the years, he collaborated with artists such as Tupac Shakur, Ice Cube, LL Cool J, Queen Latifah, Coolio, and Lionel Richie, creating remixes and productions across various genres. He was even nominated for Producer of the Year at the Source Awards alongside figures like Dr. Dre, a sign that he had earned respect within the hip-hop community in his own way. However, music production was only part of his story. In the late 1990s and early 2000s, QD3 expanded into film and television, composing music for projects such as Menace II Society, Pootie Tang, and several television series including The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and The PJs. Eventually, he shifted his focus behind the camera. Through his company, QD3 Entertainment, he became known for producing documentaries that explored deeper stories within hip-hop culture. One of his most famous projects is the documentary series Beef, which examines the rivalry and conflict within the rap world, from the infamous tensions between Tupac and Biggie to later disputes within the music industry. He also produced the documentary Tupac Shakur, Thug Angel, which achieved nearly triple platinum sales on DVD, and The Carter, a documentary about rapper Lil Wayne that later became the focus of a high-profile legal battle, a lawsuit Jones ultimately won in 2012. Over time, his career expanded beyond music and film into technology and business. Through projects like THXRD Inc., he began exploring media production, technology, and digital platforms, combining entertainment with emerging tech industries. As of 2026, Quincy Jones III still lives and works primarily in Los Angeles, serving as a music producer, filmmaker, and media entrepreneur. He remains active on social media, occasionally sharing memories of his father and images of his ongoing creative projects. After Quincy Jones passed away in November 2024, he and his siblings commemorated the legacy of an influential man who shaped generations of music. However, even within that famous family, Quincy Jones III represented something unique. He didn't try to replicate his father's career. He stepped into it and built his own reputation. Success comes to those who strive and seize opportunities. So, what were the lives of the other children like? Were they as brilliant as Quincy Jones III's? Next, we'll turn our attention to the next child, Kidada Jones. Let's explore what her life is like, beyond her famous name. Kidada Jones was born on March 22, 1974, in Los Angeles. She is the fourth daughter of Quincy Jones and Peggy Lipton, a renowned actress. Born into an artistic family, she also pursued art as an innate passion. But for her, art was more than just music. It was much more, and she expressed herself in many ways. She first appeared in public as a model, gracing major magazines in the 1990s. But modeling was quickly just the beginning. Kidada built her reputation as a stylist and creative collaborator, shaping the visual aesthetics for artists at a time when hip-hop and R&B culture were redefining style. Her work contributed to capturing what many later described as the bold, strong black aesthetic of the 1990s. She styled artists, including Michael Jackson for his famous 1995 photo shoot for Vibe magazine, worked closely with musicians in the music industry, and maintained a close friendship with singer Aaliyah, another rising cultural icon of that decade. But Kidada's name is linked to an even more dramatic chapter in music history. In the mid-1990s, she began a relationship with Tupac Shakur, one of the most influential and controversial figures in hip-hop. By 1996, they were engaged. That same year, Tupac was shot and killed in Las Vegas after attending a boxing match. Kidada was with him that night. His death sent shockwaves through the music world and solidified their relationship as an unforgettable part of hip-hop history. However, for Kidada, that loss held profound personal significance. In the years that followed, she rarely spoke about the event publicly. Instead of building a public narrative around the tragedy, she gradually distanced herself from public attention. Instead, she focused on her creative work, which more deeply reflected her own voice. Starting in 2005, Kidada collaborated with the Walt Disney Company, launching a design line called Kidada for Disney Couture. The collection combined Disney imagery with jewelry and accessories inspired by her own artistic style, playful, expressive, and visually unique. This project quietly became one of the longest-lasting collaborations of her career. She also tried her hand at writing, publishing the children's book School of Awake in 2017, a project centered around creativity, imagination, and self-confidence. By 2026, Kidada Jones was living a relatively private life. She still worked as a designer at Disney, occasionally sharing moments of her life on Instagram. Overall, compared to the 1990s, her life was much quieter and simpler. But in a way, she still represented the quiet influencer in the Quincy Jones family, powerfully creative but avoiding the spotlight. The next character also chose art as her ideal, but not in the fashion industry, but in Hollywood. So who is she, and what is her story? Let's find out in the next part. That person is Kidada's younger sister, Rashida Jones, the youngest daughter of Quincy Jones and Peggy Lipton. Born on February 25, 1976 in Los Angeles, she attended Harvard University and graduated in 1997 with a bachelor's degree in religion and ethics. After graduation, Rashida chose to pursue a television career and quickly gained recognition for her unique on-screen presence. She is known for roles that combine humor and emotional intelligence. She first became known in the series Boston Public, and later in The Office, where she played Karen Filippelli. But her most beloved role was in the NBC comedy series Parks and Recreation, where she played the kind-hearted nurse Ann Perkins from 2009 to 2015. Over time, her career expanded beyond acting. Rashida transitioned into screenwriting and producing, co-writing the 2012 film Celeste and Jessie Forever and contributing creatively to projects such as Black Mirror and Toy Story 4. She also produced television series and documentaries, gradually building a reputation as a versatile storyteller. One of the most personal projects of her career was in 2018 when she co-directed the documentary Quincy, a film about the life and legacy of her father. This documentary won a Grammy for Best Musical, becoming both a professional achievement and a deeply personal tribute. By the mid-2020s, Rashida Jones had become one of the most versatile figures in contemporary entertainment, switching between acting, screenwriting, producing, and directing with rare ease. And in 2026, her career continued to flourish. She appeared in the science fiction film In the Blink of an Eye, directed by Andrew Stanton, which premiered in early 2026 and garnered attention for its ambitious storyline spanning multiple timelines. Simultaneously, she remained involved in several creative projects behind the camera, including developing the film Playdate as a director. That year also marked a personal milestone. In February 2026, Rashida celebrated her 50th birthday, sharing a reflective online message about the life she had built and the work still ahead. Her tone was simple yet profound: gratitude, reflection, and a sense that her creative journey continued. In public, she continued to appear at major industry events such as the Golden Globes and BAFTA Awards, maintaining her status as one of the most respected creative voices of her generation. Within the large Jones family, we won't make comparisons. But if we had to give an assessment, Rashida Jones is truly one of the most outstanding children in the family. Quincy's story is vast and colorful, but the next color is perhaps entirely different. It belongs to his youngest daughter, Kenya Kinski-Jones. So how is she different? Let's find out. Kenya. Julia Nyambi. Sarah Jones was born on February 9, 1993, in Los Angeles, the daughter of Quincy Jones and German actress Nastasia Kinski, daughter of legendary actor Klaus Kinski. In many ways, Kenya grew up in a different world than her siblings. She didn't experience the early years of her father's fame. As a child, the name Quincy Jones was already part of music history. However, her own path would follow a direction that both connected to that creative world and was deeply personal. Kenya entered the fashion industry in her late teens, beginning her modeling career around the age of 18. She was discovered by photographer Bruce Weber, and soon after began appearing in advertising campaigns, fashion shows, and fashion articles for major fashion houses. Over time, she has collaborated with brands such as Chanel, Stella McCartney, Calvin Klein, Dior, Hermano Cervino, and Lee Jeans, establishing a solid position in the international fashion world. One of her most memorable moments was becoming the face of Stella McCartney's Pop fragrance, a campaign that highlighted her natural style and relaxed confidence. While not pursuing the high-pressure supermodel lifestyle of some of the biggest names in the industry, Kenya is known for a different image, a blend of fashion and personal values. She has long been outspoken about animal rights and environmental issues, collaborating with organizations like Last Chance for Animals and frequently using her influence to promote sustainability and ethical awareness. In that sense, Kenya represents a new generation of models who see their careers not just as aesthetic work, but as a way to advocate for ideals they care about. Her personal life has also attracted attention in recent years. Kenya has been in a long-term relationship with actor Will Peltz, the younger brother of actress Nicola Peltz Beckham. The couple began dating around 2011, and in July 2025, after more than a decade together, they announced their engagement. Kenya shared the happy news with a simple message online: "My whole heart goes to you." As of 2026, the couple remains engaged, continuing a relationship that has lasted over 14 years, quite rare in the often volatile world of celebrity romances. Today, Kenya Kinski-Jones primarily lives in Los Angeles, maintaining a balanced life between her fashion career, social activities, and family relationships. Compared to some of her siblings, she maintains a rather private public image, often focusing on personal projects, health, and creative collaborations. 7 children. 7 completely different lives. Some stayed close to the worlds their father shaped: music, film, fashion, and media. Others quietly chose paths far away from the spotlight. In the end, the story of Quincy Jones's children was never about copying a legend. It was about finding their own direction beside one. And that may be the real legacy he left behind. Not just a name the world remembers, but a family that learned how to live beyond it. If you enjoyed exploring the lives behind the Quincy Jones legacy, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more stories about the families behind music, film, and cultural legends.